In this video, I'm going to show you how to build an AI-powered voice receptionist using Retell AI and N8N, and we'll build it side by side together throughout this whole video. This guarantees that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build one of these voice AI agents for completely free, even if you've never touched a line of code. This kind of voice AI can handle calls, talk to customers, answer FAQs, and route people automatically wherever they need to go, depending on the conversation. All using AI, all 24/7. Here's what it actually sounds like in action.
This is Emily. How can I help you today?
Hi, Emily. I was looking to order some cookies. What cookies do you currently have in stock?
Hi there. I'd be happy to help with that. Right now, we have our classic chocolate chip, snickerdoodle, peanut butter, oatmeal raisin, and a seasonal special pumpkin spice cookies. Would you like to hear more about any of these or place an order?
The truth is, most businesses waste tons of time answering the same questions over and over and get caught up playing phone tag when they start missing calls and following up with voicemail. This fixes that because the AI actually handles the phone lines 24/7, no humans needed, and guaranteed answers every single call. If you're new here, my name is Tommy Christ. I've automated over 100,000 calls with these voice AI agents through my agency, Arose AI. I've actually deployed dozens of these in real businesses out in the wild that are probably talking to someone right now. And so this video will be a bit more raw. I'll be building the voice receptionist from scratch with you. So I urge you to actually put this video in one tab and sort of go split screen and then open another tab and follow along with me as I build this so you can build this side by side. And so by the end of it, you'll have actually a fully functioning voice agent. And trust me, you'll learn a lot on how these things actually work by actually doing the work yourself and building it. So once again, I urge you to actually open this YouTube video in a split screen tab. I'll show you how to do that here. Just drag it to the side. On the other side, I want you to actually have Google open, and then you can follow along with what I'm actually doing. Now, I do want to mention that I'm signed into all these platforms. I have existing accounts, all of that. All these platforms are free to sign up for. It's really just Retell AI and N8N, and then I'll also implement some Google Sheets for some post-call stuff. But once again, Google Sheets is also free. And so if at any point you run into that, just pause this video, go and sign in to Retell or N8N or sign up for an account, and then you can come back and keep watching the video and following along. And I really want to stress that taking action is the best way you'll actually learn how to build these things. And so let's dive into it. So once you're in Retell, you'll be on this agents tab, and depending if you have an account or not, you might see some existing agents in here. But for the sake of this video, I'm just in my demo folder, and we really don't have to worry about any of these other tabs. I have full walkthroughs on Retell if you want to go watch those on my channel. However, this is about building and sort of refining an AI agent and connecting it to N8N. So I will not be walking through all of that. So what you want to do here is create an agent, and you want a voice agent. Obviously, it's the name of the video. And in here, we're just going to go with a single prompt agent. Now, quickly explain these other ones. A conversational flow agent is more of a sort of decision tree agent, where if you have a lot more complex of a use case, or if you're building a single prompt agent and you see it's not performing as well or following the routes that you want the conversation to go down, then you would use a conversational flow agent. A multi-prompt agent is sort of a step in between a single prompt agent and a conversational flow agent. In production, I actually only use conversational flow agents. However, when creating a demo or just showing how platforms connect, a single prompt agent is more than enough. I've actually deployed single prompt agents in production before. They work just fine. It's just if you ever have sort of a larger client or a complex use case, which when someone's paying you to actually build these is generally what's happening, then you definitely want a conversational flow agent. But enough with that. Moving on, we will create this single prompt agent. And in here, you'll see a bunch of different stuff going on. Really, all you have to focus on right now is this big text box here is basically the prompt for your agent or the main instructions for it. And then in here, you have the AI model you actually use. I pretty much only stick to the OpenAI models, so that's all the GPTs. And then I just recommend GPT Nano if it's something really simple. GPT 4.1 mini is what I almost always recommend for my clients. And then GPT 4.1, if I just realize 4.1 mini is making a lot of mistakes, then I go with 4.1. You'll notice Retell actually has this fast tier option. You want priority access to actually calling the OpenAI API. What that means is it's just a lot more reliable in that you'll actually get your responses a bit faster and reduces latency and more consistent latency. Here you go. So I suppose if you run into that issue, you can do that, but generally, instead of increasing the cost, I would recommend dropping down to a lower model and trying to refine your prompting. Anyways, that's a bit more higher level. And so say we want to make an agent for a bakery. So bakery receptionist. Pretend that it's a big bakery that needs a receptionist and they got a lot of calls for cookies. So what I want to do here is we want to draft the prompt. But if I were to write all this out myself, I stopped writing a long time ago. And I guess it's not that long ago. But I stopped writing a lot in high school. Don't really write that much anymore. And so all my first drafts are here in ChatGPT. Is actually where I draft out sort of the structure of how I want the prompt to actually look. And then you basically just talk to the agent, see what you like, see what you don't like, and you switch the prompt based on that. But there is absolutely no reason you should type out 1,000 different words in here to start, and when you can just have AI give you really 80% of the way on a good prompt already. And so I have this voice AI prompt creator GPT. I'll close this bar. And basically this is something I made myself. You can see my name there. I go by my middle name actually. My real name's George, but besides the point. And you can see all you have to do is sort of describe your use case, and then it'll actually generate a whole prompt for you. So let me say, I want a voice AI prompt for a receptionist for a bakery. The bakery is named Tommy's Cookies. And so you can see here, it created an entire prompt for us in Markdown formatting. So basically all these little hashtags, and you might notice, nope, nothing else. So I'm actually going to ask it to output this in a code window in Markdown formatting. And so what I'm basically asking it to do here is to output one in a code window so that it's easy to copy and paste up here and it doesn't include all this extra info. As well as I asked for it in Markdown formatting. Basically all that is Markdown is bold, italics, headings. It's how the computer actually reads all those things that typically we would see appear as, like I mentioned, bold or italicized. But a computer obviously can't see that directly and realize the nuances of what that means. And so how that actually looks like in code is these hashtags indicate sort of a big heading. If there were two hashtags, that's a smaller heading. These double asterisks, I believe, are bolded, and then if there were single asterisks, sorry, can't pronounce that. You know what I'm talking about. It'd be italicized if there were just only one of these on each side. So if I come over here and copy this into the Retell agent, and then like I mentioned, I usually stick with 4.1 mini, and then I won't go super deep on voices in this video, but you obviously have a bunch of voices. You can listen to them, you can play them, and if you need to add a custom voice from 11 Labs, you can copy the ID, which you can find within 11 Labs, but again, that's beyond the context of this video. And so here we have a very simple agent, and so I'll break down sort of the main parts of this prompt here. So the first message is one, I actually want to come down and change this welcome message, which reminded me. You have three options here. Either the user initiates, which is like it says, the AI is silent until the user actually speaks. So call in and wait for someone, the actual human calling it, to speak first, and then it would start responding. Next is the other two options, the AI actually speaks first. It's just in one, you have a defined message where you write it out here like that, and it would say, hello, how can I help you today? Every single time, the exact same way. Or a dynamic beginning message, which is generally what I like to do, and then just include the first message here in the prompt so that it says along the same lines of the same thing every time, except isn't always the exact same. Moving on to the role, this is a very high level of just explaining to the AI what it actually is. So you're Emily, the warm and cheerful receptionist for Tommy's Cookies. You love making people feel welcome and helping them with their orders, questions, and anything sweet related. Their task is to answer incoming calls, help customers with cookie orders, provide information about the menu and store hours, and assist with special requests or bulk orders. Specifics. You will always start by greeting the caller warmly and asking how you can help. If the caller wants to place an order, you'll collect their name, phone number, order details, and preferred pickup time. The customer bulk order, you'll explain necessary lead times. If they're calling about store hours and menu items, you'll provide that info clearly and kindly. So these are a bit more actually specific on the use case and what they should do. And then context tells you a bit about the bakery. And then I like including examples are very important in these prompts of an example back and forth between the AI, which is you, and then the customer, which would be the actual human calling in. And so now that we actually have this prompt, let's just see and hear a bit about what it actually sounds like right now.
This is Emily. How can I help you today?
Hi, Emily. I was looking to order some cookies. What cookies do you currently have in stock?
Hi there. I'd be happy to help with that. Right now, we have our classic chocolate chip, snickerdoodle, peanut butter, oatmeal raisin, and a seasonal special pumpkin spice cookies. Would you like to hear more about any of these or place an order?
Yeah, I'll have the peanut butter cookies. I'll have half a dozen of them.
Great choice. Can I get your name and phone number to start your order?
And so there you see the AI sort of walks through the specifics here. And again, this is a very basic prompt. I won't go super deep into the different prompting techniques for this voice AI. However, you can see here how it followed this instructions. If the caller wants to place an order, you will then collect their name, phone number, and order details, and preferred pickup time, which it was about to do. I actually cut it off. But I just wanted to show off that you can pretty much in a couple minutes have a rough demo of a voice agent here. And now I want to show you how you can actually sort of take action. For example, if someone were to put in this order, how would the company, how would Tommy's Cookies actually be able to know that there's a new pickup order and they have to make sure it's ready? And so the way we do that is with this platform, N8N, and now previously, some of my other videos, you might have seen me use make.com. I still like Make, I still use Make in production activities. However, I know N8N is an automation platform that a lot of people use. And very simply, if you're not familiar with what an automation platform is, what it does is it allows you to connect different softwares and allows you to send data to and from them. For example, in our use case, this would be taking the information from this call in Retell and then having N8N and set it up to send that data then to a Google Sheet and also a Gmail to let Tommy's Cookies actually know that they have a new order coming in and they have to make sure it's ready by whatever time. And so the way you do this is through something called webhooks. If you ever want to learn more about anything, Retell AI has very good documentation. This is a bit more technical, but if this is something you're going to be building very often, it's something you want to get comfortable with and know your way around. And so basically what's going on here in this documentation is that anytime a call happens, it sends 3 types of information to this digital address, which I'll show you how to set up in N8N in a second. Basically the call started, the call ended, and the call analyzed. Now this call analyzed is the one we actually want, and it has the full call analysis. But basically in this call analysis, and you'll see this in a second in N8N, that call analysis has all the information such as the transcript, the call summary, and some post-call analysis data that we're actually going to define here, such as their name, phone number, and the order details, preferred pickup time, everything that the AI collects so that we can then send that to a Google Sheet automatically every time a call ends. Now, before we actually set up that automation inside of N8N, I want to set up some post-call analysis to make sure we're actually sending all of the correct data to N8N. And so what I want to do here is I want to add, and then it will be text. And in this, basically what you're able to define is you're able to have the AI pick out specific parts of the conversation, such as, like I mentioned, the name, phone number, order details, pickup time that the caller actually mentions, and to send those individually to N8N instead of you having to go and read through the entire transcript and then figure those out yourself. And so here I will put caller underscore name. For the description, the name that the caller gives. And so let's say Jerry Smith is one example. What's another one? Barb Michaels. And then for the last one, I will go Raphael Perry. So just making up some names there. And so now, anytime a caller mentions their name, says, once they're prompted for the name and I say Tommy Chris, this field would be Tommy Chris. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this for every other field that we want to collect and actually send to our employees at Tommy's Cookies so that they know how to actually create the order, what time the person's coming in, and who to give the order to. So the next one is phone number, and you might think you want to choose this number selector. However, that wouldn't let you put the dashes between the number, and since we want the number to be formatted such as this 216 555 5567, we want the number to be in this format. Since we want the dashes and the parentheses, we would use a text selector instead of number, because the number one actually only accepts numbers, and so it would have to instead be look like this if it was in the number, which is just doesn't look as good in my opinion, and that's not how I want to read my phone numbers. And so now that we have that, I'm going to say phone underscore number. This is the phone number that the user gives. Save that. And now I'm sure you can actually suspect sort of how this is going to go for the rest of it. So for the order details, order underscore details. And me putting the underscore here is just a typical coding naming convention. Some people prefer camel case, which is be something like this you may have seen, where you capitalize everything after the first letter and every new word is capitalized. However, I'm more of an underscore guy. I think it's a lot easier to actually read it. And so this is the details of what the person ordering wants from Tommy's Cookies. And now I should have explained this a bit earlier, but the description actually, so what's happening behind the scenes here is AI is actually taking these and saying, okay, I have these order details, and then based on the description, it's looking through the transcript of the call to see if it can grab that information and send it out. And so, for example, in the test call I did, it would see, I want 6 peanut butter cookies. So basically this description gives the AI, in this case, GPT-4o Mini, you can see it behind there, the information it needs to actually go and find this variable, which in this case is the order details. And so if I were to name it order details, but then say the phone number that the caller provides, it would actually grab the phone number. And this name is just for our convenience to actually recognize what each of these data points is. But the description is actually the real meat to actually getting the information you want. So if you test this out and it's not returning the values you want, or it's getting it wrong, the description is the first place you would look to troubleshoot that. Now, like I mentioned, 6 peanut butter cookies, not bookies, cookies. And then another one could be a dozen. I'm not gonna say a dozen. I want it to be a number. 12 assorted cookies are some examples. And then lastly, we just need the preferred pickup time, and then I'll actually see whether it's a custom or bulk order. And so first, pickup underscore time, the time the person gives that they want to pick up their cookies. And so here in this, I would say like 1 p.m., 11:30 a.m., and then those would be some examples there. Then lastly, let's see if it's a custom or bulk order. So for this, I'm going to use a Boolean, and a Boolean is basically, it only has 2 options, yes or no. You just tell it when to choose each of those, custom or bulk. So I'm going to say choose yes if the order is indeed a custom or bulk order. Choose no if it is not. And so this Boolean is really helpful. You could use a text and say, hey, say yes if it is, no if it's not. But if that's your 2 options, then you don't want the variability of it being able to sort of go outside the lines of that. And you do want it to be a rigid true or false, yes, no, and choose the Boolean here. So now that we have all this information, now let's get into actually setting up this agent level webhook URL inside of N8N. And so once again, that can sound a bit intimidating, but once you're inside of N8N, once again, free to sign up. You can come over here, create a workflow. And what you want here is, and so I will say bakery YouTube test, name this function, add this first step. We want a webhook to start it. And basically what you'll see here, you have all this information. And again, I'm actually not too familiar with N8N, so you'll see me sort of troubleshooting here. But basically this is our digital address that we want, this URL, this webhook here, and we don't need any authentication or anything behind here. We don't need any of that. And so I believe we're fine. I think we actually want a post webhook URL, and if I was unsure, I could come here to the documentation. So the webhook will post the payload to your endpoint. And so this is a bit high level, but post and get are pretty much the 2 main ways a webhook works. And so get is if you were actually going and grabbing information from Retell and then bringing it back, where in this case, Retell is actually sending it to us, as in they're sending us a piece of mail or something like that. And so we want the post method. And so if I copy this URL and I come back into this agent level webhook URL, say listen for test event, now it's listening for any information being sent here. And so what I want to do is I want to actually start sending information. So let me test this audio.
Hi, thanks for calling Tommy's Cookies. This is Emily. How can I help you today?
Hey Emily, I would like to order 6 peanut butter cookies.
Sweet. Can I get your name and phone number first?
Yes, my name is Tommy and my phone number is 216-555-1234.
Thanks, Tommy. Just to confirm, that's 216-555-1234, right? What time would you like to pick up your 6 peanut butter cookies?
Can I pick them up at 11:30?
Absolutely, Tommy. We'll have your 6 peanut butter cookies ready for pickup at 11:30. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Nope, that'll be it. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Tommy. We look forward to seeing you at 11:30. Have a sweet day.
And so we can see that call ended. However, if what I think is happening over here happened, yep. So what happened here is we did not get this, sorry, I keep going back into these docs, but we did instead got this event type, the call started, when we actually wanted the call analyzed type. And so what we can do here is, let me see how the best way to filter this. So after this, let me just put, how do I get a, so filter, and we want the type, so that would be event. We want the event to equal this right here, call underscore analyzed, so that we're not getting these, that all that other info. Let me go here and make sure this is saved. And then what I actually want is over here, I will have just like a set edit field. So set a variable, and then, oh, I forgot to pin that data. I'm able to do that now. Let me pin this. And so basically what I'm doing here is I'm setting up just an example of the filter and then making sure that the correct data comes over here, because there's no way to control and make sure these other two events aren't sent to this webhook. But what we can do is make sure they're not sent through the rest of the function, uploaded to the Google Sheet and all of that. And so that's why we include this filter here. This data actually won't come through because of the filter, but now we will be able to see it once we test this again. And so I'm not sure if I'll cut this or not, but if you see the conversation, you do. If you don't, then I have cut it. And so sorry about that cut there. I actually forgot to make sure this is active. And so you want to turn this to, well, now I'm deactivating it and it's loading, but you want to make sure that's active there. And then the other thing I did was I instead pasted the production URL in here to make sure everything looked good. So let me turn this back to active now. And basically the difference between active and inactive is an active workflow will automatically run, whereas inactive, if I were to, I could call this a million times and the data wouldn't flow through here. And so if I come here to executions and I look here at June 20 and this final one, so like I mentioned in here, it always sends these three, and it's actually in this order. It's call started, call ended, and then call analyzed. And so I know just based on that, that time-wise, it would be call started, call ended, and then call analyzed. And so here, if I go to this filter, you can see this one's a call analyzed because it actually made it through the filter. If I come here, I can view this item, and I wonder if I can make this a bit bigger. You can see all this call analyze, and probably the schema is the easiest way to view this. So all those headers don't really matter, but you can see this event call analyzed, and now this is a really short call, is a web call, and so all that information is not provided, such as the phone number would be in a normal call, so the phone number they're calling with would be in there. But you can see you have all this information, such as a transcript. I don't like how it automatically opens all this because we don't need all this. But you can see there's a bunch of information here, stuff you can do, such as the recording URL, all the stuff about the call cost. This call analysis is actually where most of the information you'll want is in here. So it automatically summarizes it. And then in our custom analysis data, which right here, again, is where we set all this up right there, all of that right here, and you can paste that into a Google Sheet. So what I'm going to do here, instead of this edit field, is I'm going to come back into this editor here and delete this and basically make this a Google Sheet. I think it's append row. And we actually have to go and make a Google Sheet. So I will do that real quick and keep you guys along with me. And basically the point of all this is that we can send all this information to a Google Sheet so that you can always check your Google Sheet and know all this information. So if you get a notification such as, hey, there's a new person with a request to pick up cookies, you can then go to the Google Sheet and see exactly who it is. So I'm just going to go name, phone, order, and time. And I know we have a lot more data than that, but I just want to show off all this, and then maybe I'll put the call summary as well. And so you can see how we can paste all of this in here. And so this is going to be Tommy's cookies order, or I'm going to say online orders. And so to connect this with N8N, you'll actually have to create credentials with your account. Just signing into Google, that button that you've probably clicked a million times when you're signing up with a new account or something like that. To sign in with Google, and then it connects your account. You give it access to your Google Sheets and Google Docs, all of that. And so what you want to do here is from this, you want to choose Tommy's cookies, online orders, that's the document. Then the sheet from this will just be sheet 1. And so if I were to have multiple sheets here, you would see those there. Sorry, I'm just figuring out how to get all this data in here just because I'm not super familiar with N8N. So if I do a call here.
Hi, thanks for calling Tommy's Cookies. This is Emily. How can I help you today?
Hi, Emily. I would like to order 6 peanut butter cookies for 11:30 p.m. Or a.m., sorry.
No worries at all. I've got 6 peanut butter cookies for 11:30 a.m. Can I please have your name and phone number to complete the order?
Yes, my name is Tommy and my phone number is 216-555-1234.
Thanks so much, Tommy. I've got your order for 6 peanut butter cookies ready for pickup at 11:30 a.m. We'll have them fresh and waiting for you. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that will be it. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Tommy. Thanks for choosing Tommy's Cookies. Have a sweet day, and we look forward to seeing you at 11:30 a.m.
Perfect. Thank you. And so should have just ran a couple times, and you'll see this had been, it's a classic mistake. I forgot to save it. So I have to do that again. I forgot to save it, so it didn't actually have the Google Sheet field there.
If you need anything else, just give us a call. Have a sweet day.
You too. Now this should have ran as needed. And once again, what I am trying to do here is get the data to this Google Sheet so that we're able to easily map it. Ooh, there's an error. Okay, yeah, so it didn't have any values to send. But now if I open this, let me see, if I open this in the editor, it's not able to, and N8N's throwing me off. I'm not sure exactly how to do this. I'm gonna have to do a bit of brainstorming on exactly how I would set this up. Okay, so I've figured it out after a bit of banging my head against the wall, watching some YouTube videos that didn't exactly help me out. ChatGPT came to the rescue, and I will show you exactly what I did. So what you want to do is you want to take this production URL, and this is what you want to paste inside of Retell. It's already in there for me. And then you can just test your agent over here, have a full conversation with it. And actually, I'll just show you exactly what I did.
Hi, thanks for calling Tommy's Cookies. This is Emily. How can I help you today?
Hi, Emily. I would like 6 sugar cookies. My name's Tommy. My phone number is 216-555-1234. And I would like to pick them up at 11:30 a.m. today.
Thanks so much, Tommy. Just to confirm, you'd like 6 sugar cookies ready for pickup at 11:30 a.m. today, correct?
Yep.
Great. Your order for 6 sugar cookies will be ready for pickup at 11:30 a.m. today. We look forward to seeing you then, Tommy. If you need anything else, just give us a call. Have a sweet day.
And so now, since it was active and using the production URL, if I come to the executions here, you should see, and we get this error. And that is because nothing is actually mapped to the Google Sheets. But what you can do here is, because prior the issue was I wasn't able to actually access the data to map it to the Google Sheets, because every time I would test it, I could only test it for the call started or the call ended. But what you can do is you can come over here, either if there's an error, it'll say debug in editor. If there's not an error, it'll say copy the editor. And basically that just takes all the data from this run and allows you to actually map it and act as if it was a test run. And so I'm going to unpin the previous data. And then also, instead of a filter, I just put this if instead if you wanted a separate branch for whatever reason. It's just a bit more flexible, but this if parameter is the exact same as the filter. It's just take this event and make sure it's equal to call underscore analyzed. You can see here, this was true in this call analyzed. And now we can come over here to the Google Sheets and we can actually map. Let me get rid of these headers. We don't need any of this info. What we're really looking for all this information. Then here, the call summary, we can come and drag that there. Then this custom analysis data, the caller name, their phone number, their order, and the pickup time. Then you can see if I now execute this step, then we come over here, all that info is now automatically uploaded into this Google Sheet. And so, boom, you now have an AI agent that can take calls for whatever your company is, in this case, a bakery, pass them through this webhook to N8N, and upload all of that information to a Google Sheet using whatever post-call analysis data you have here. Now, I will be coming out with more complex tutorials, sort of based around this agent. I'm looking to make this a series where I can add call booking. I will add sort of email notification reminders, all of that fun stuff, and going a lot more in depth on the N8N side of the automations here. But this is really just a preliminary, getting your first agent set up, getting a bit comfortable with external automations and sending the post-call analysis, which is, as I've seen in production, probably the most helpful use case and also the easiest. So it's really good to learn that, become comfortable with it, and this post-call data retrieval and creating these different fields here and being able to map them to a Google Sheet through N8N. And so I hope this was helpful. If you want to get all these workflows and everything, you can copy all of them. They're in my free Skool community, link down below. If you'd actually like to work with me, make sure to book a call with me down below or visit arose.ai/booking. Yeah, this was a fun build for me. I'm excited to get my hands dirty with N8N a lot more. Thank you for being patient as I troubleshoot it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and that you enjoyed this build along.